Welcome to the weekend edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, and I'm here to bring you all the latest news in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. It's Friday, April 3rd, 2015. Let's get to it. Just a few weeks removed from notching the biggest win of his distinguished career, Jose Raymond is back in the office doing what he does best, busting ass on the weights. Earlier this week, the 212 Arnold Classic champion posted a video from a recent delt training session that shows the large and in charge Boston Mass shoulder pressing some serious weight. With his win in Columbus, Raymond has solidified himself as the primary threat to Flex Lewis's Olympia crown. And if he can replicate his championship level conditioning on the Olympia stage, he's certainly going to give Flex a run for his money. For those of you looking to put your multitasking skills to the test over the weekend, perhaps you might want to consider looking into the Oliver method. Sergio Oliver Jr. released a new training video showing off what Liam Neeson would call, quote, a very particular set of skills. In the footage, we see Oliver hammering out a few reps with 315 on the bench press, while also deciding to engage in a curious set of leg raises at the same time. And while there aren't too many that can argue with the results of the hulking 280-pound muscle machine, I think we could all raise a suspicious eyebrow and question the methods to his madness. They say that heroes get remembered, but legends never die. And it looks like Dana Lynn Bailey won't be content until she cements herself as a legend in the sport. After a tough defeat at the hands of Juliana Malacarni for the second consecutive time, Bailey is back in the gym unscathed and undeterred as she continues her quest to reclaim the women's physique throne. Bailey was spotted training legs at her Warhouse gym recently, and from the look of things, the most popular woman in the sport is just as hungry as ever. Although at the moment it's difficult to imagine a scenario where Bailey could overtake Malacarni if they're both at their best. As we know, in the world of bodybuilding, the strange and unusual and unsuspecting have a way of occurring all too regularly. The 212 world will converge on Missouri this weekend for the IFBB St. Louis Pro, and Daren Lytle appears to have a major upset on his mind. Last season, Lytle took the stage twice at the Tampa Pro and Europa Phoenix, but struggled to really find his place against a stacked division of 212 competitors. When he hits the stage this time around, Lytle won't be out-muscling anyone, but if he can manage to dial in his all-time best conditioning, he'll certainly have a shot to slide in and unseat a few bigger names. Daren Lytle won't be the only 212 athlete looking to make a name for himself in St. Louis. Freddie McRae has announced that he plans on making his pro debut this weekend as well. McRae earned his IFBB Pro card by taking second in the light heavyweight class at last year's NPC Nationals, and apparently put his offseason to good use. McRae looks to have added a few pounds of new muscle since we last saw him take the stage, which is going to be something that he needs to do if he plans on having any hope of standing next to one of the most densely muscled competitors in bodybuilding, Charles Dixon. McRae's physique has great lines and excellent symmetry, but whether or not that will be enough to make his pro debut one to remember still remains to be seen. And finally, female bodybuilding is alive and thriving for IFBB Pro Shannon Courtney as she prepares for her assault on the IFBB Chicago Wings of Strength Pro in 14 weeks. Guided by RX Muscle's very own Shelby Starnes, Courtney has added a ton of new muscle since her last showing, bringing a better overall balance to her physique. According to Starnes, quote, Shannon will certainly be in the mix for a top spot this summer in the Windy City. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark. Check out ironmaglabs.com today. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter,